New articles of impeachment are officially out against President Donald Trump, and Republicans are warning against trying to do this again. I'm going to give you guys all the dirt. What's going on? My name is Jimmy, and this is the latest episode of the Daily Dirt. The U.S. House of Representatives, led by Speaker Nancy Pelosi, have officially drafted new articles of impeachment against President Donald Trump. Let me show you. U.S. House of Representative Democrats have now started to circulate a new draft of articles of impeachment citing incitement of insurrection against President Donald Trump. The new articles of impeachment, which are only 4 pages long, as we can see here now, I'll give you some of the highlights here. It basically says impeachment of Donald John Trump, President of the United States, for high crimes and misdemeanors. That Donald John Trump, President of the U.S., is impeached for high crimes and misdemeanors, and that the following article of impeachment be exhibited to the United States Senate. Article of impeachment. The Constitution provides that the House of Representatives, quote, shall have the sole power of impeachment, and that the president, quote, shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors in his conduct of the office of the President of the United States and in violation of his constitutional oath faithfully to execute the office of the President of the United States and to the best of his ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. It goes on to say Donald John Trump engaged in high crimes and misdemeanors by willfully inciting violence against the government of the United States. On January 6, 2020, on January 6, 2021, pursuant to the 12th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, the Vice President of the United States and the House of Representatives and the Senate met at the U.S. Capitol for a joint session of Congress to count the votes of the Electoral College. Shortly before that joint session, President Trump addressed a crowd of political supporters nearby. There, he reiterated false claims that, quote, we won this election and we won it by a landslide. He also willfully made statements that encouraged and foreseeably resulted in imminent lawless action at the Capitol. Incited by President Donald Trump, a mob unlawfully breached the Capitol, injured law enforcement personnel, and menaced members of Congress and the Vice President, interfered with the joint session's solemn constitutional duty to certify the election results, and engaged in violent, deadly, destructive, and seditious acts. President Trump's conduct on January 6th was consistent with his prior efforts to subvert and obstruct the certifications of the results of the election. Those prior efforts include, but are not limited to, a phone call on January 2nd in which President Trump urged Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger to, quote, find enough votes to overturn the Georgia presidential election results and threatened Mr. Raffensperger if he failed to do so. In all of this, President Trump gravely endangered the security of the U.S. and its institutions in the government. He threatened the integrity of the democratic system, interfered with the peaceful transition of power, and imperiled a coordinate branch of government. He thereby betrayed his trust as president to manifest injury of the people to the United States. Wherefore, President Trump, by such conduct, has demonstrated that he will remain a threat to national security, democracy, and the Constitution if allowed to remain in office, and has acted in manner grossly incompatible with self-governance and the rule of law. President Trump thus warrants impeachment and trial, removal from office, and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. Wow, so it looks like this is actually happening. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments what you think of this. Republican leader in the U.S. House of Representatives, Kevin McCarthy, warns against doing this.
Some breaking news, by the way. The top House Republican, Kevin McCarthy, has just put out a statement warning against efforts to impeach the president before he leaves office. He says he's reached out to President-elect Biden about lowering the temperature, although we should note that McCarthy supported efforts to block Congress from affirming Biden as the winner of the election, and there were reports that he was advising wavering members of Congress that they were better off, perhaps, politically, voting a yes on those objections.
Nancy Pelosi also wants, quote, an unhinged President Donald Trump to be stripped of his nuclear codes capabilities. Speaker Nancy Pelosi spoke with the Pentagon's top generals about, quote, preventing an unstable Donald Trump from launching a military conflict or using his codes to launch Americans' nukes. She says, quote, this morning I spoke to the chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff, Mark Milley, to discuss available precautions for preventing an unstable president from initiating military hostilities or accessing the launch codes for the nukes. The situation of this unhinged president could not be more dangerous, and we must do everything we can to protect the American people from his unbalanced assault on our country and our democracy. Trump supporters say that Nancy Pelosi is not president and has no right to even attempt to do something like this. Now let's hear from President-elect Joe Biden on his thoughts.
I want to pick up on something that you just said about President Trump actively encouraging the insurrection at the Capitol. Given the perceived threat that he poses, my question to you is not so much about the role that Congress should play in impeachment, but rather, should President Trump, in your estimation, remain in office?
I didn't think, look, I've been saying for now well over a year, he is not fit to serve. He is not fit to serve. He's one of the most incompetent presidents in the history of the United States of America. And so the idea that I think he shouldn't be out of office yesterday is not the issue. The question is, what happens with 14 days left to go or 13 days left to go? And I think that what 81 million people stood up and said, it's time for him to go. And the United States Senate voted 93-6 to confirm that we should be sworn in. We were duly elected. So I think it's important we get on with the business, getting him out of office. The quickest way that that will happen is us being sworn in on the 20th. What action happens before or after that is a judgment for the Congress to make, but that's what I am looking forward to, him leaving office. I was told that on the way up here, way over here, that he indicated he wasn't going to show up at the inauguration. One of the few things he and I have ever agreed on. It's a good thing I'm not showing up.
Earlier, you'd said that if you'd hope that he would show up only in the sense that it was valuable to send a signal to the world about the transfer of power. You've clearly changed your perspective on that.
Because he has clearly demonstrated, he's exceeded even my worst notions about him. He's been an embarrassment to the country, embarrassed us around the world, not worthy to hold that office. If we were 6 months out, we should be moving everything to get him out of office, impeaching him again, trying to invoke the 25th Amendment, whatever it took to get him out of office. But I am focused now on us taking control as president and vice president on the 20th and to get our agenda moving as quickly as we can. Thank you.
So let me know your thoughts. It seems that Joe Biden says that we should basically just let the 12 days run out, 12 days now, run out, and just the 20th can't come fast enough in Joe Biden's eyes. But let me know your thoughts. Do you think Trump was just right to kind of challenge the election with everything that was kind of at his disposal with the lawsuits and stuff? The lawsuits did not go very well for President Donald Trump. I don't think he won very many, if any. Almost every single one he lost. And that kind of will set a message going forward for challenging future elections like this, because as Mitch McConnell said, I don't agree with Mitch McConnell very often, but he said that we don't want to set a precedence here to object to this electoral college certification, because if we do that, then we're setting a precedence that every single election going forward, we can challenge this to the tooth and nail and have no certainty about our election process at all. And this is coming from Republican Mitch McConnell, who is basically speaking out against his own Republican president, saying, enough is enough. Let's just get on with the certification. But now we actually have U.S. House Democrats with official articles of impeachment. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next few days. I will keep you updated with this and other Daily Dirt. Make sure to subscribe with the bell icon on down below so you don't miss out on new updates and you get a notification when we go live. My wife will be hosting videos here also. You can click this top video here to watch my newest video on the Daily Dirt. And this video over here is from our other channel, It's Jimmy, with the newest video about the $2,000 third stimulus check coming out. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.